Welcome. So we're going to continue on here. We're using our remainder theorem, and we're just going to work through some examples. So it says using the remainder theorem to find the value of the remainder when p of x is equal to this is divided by x minus 2. So what are we going to do first? Well, step one, that's right, step one. Step one is to take our divisor, so x minus 2, set it equal to 0, and then solve for x. So that means x is going to be equal to 2. That's the first thing that we do. The next thing that we do, so this is step 2 now, is we take that and we substitute it into p of x. So we're going to go p of 2 is equal to 2 cubed minus 3 2 squared plus 2 2 plus 6, which is going to be 8 minus 3 4 plus 4 plus 6, which is 8 minus 12 plus 4 plus 6, which is then going to be negative 4 plus 4 plus 6, which is going to be equal to 6. So that means if I was to go x minus 2 divided by p of x here, my remainder is going to be 6, which means that x minus 2 is not a factor of p of x. So this is my remainder. And that's what we wanted. We just wanted to figure out what the remainder is. But remember, by figuring it out, what we have determined is that this x minus 2 is not a factor of this. So it's important that you understand what we're doing as well. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. So it's going to be the same 2 steps that we do. So I take my divisor here, 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, and I solve it for x. So that's going to leave me with negative a half. Then I take that and I substitute it into p of x here. So p of negative 1 on 2. This is just going to be a bit fiddly because I've got some fractions here. So it's going to be negative 1 on 2, then I'm going to cube it, then I'm going to go minus negative a half plus 4 is equal to, now when I cube a negative, it stays a negative, then I just cube the numerator, and I cube the denominator, then here I've got 2 negatives which make a positive, and then I'm just going to go 2 on 2 here, and then see how both of these are fractions? I'm just going to write 4 as a fraction as well. Now I need to add these all up, so that means I'm going to need common denominators. So I'm going to make everything a denominator of 8, which means I'm going to times this by 4, so the top and bottom by 4, and I'll times the top and bottom by 8 here. And then once we've done that, what we're going to do is just write them all as having the same denominator now. So this is going to be 8 on 8. This will be 32 on 8. And now I can add them together. Negative 1 on 8 plus 8 on 8 is going to be 7 on 8. Then I've got 32 on 8, which is going to end up being 39 on 8. 39 on 8. So just a little bit fiddly there, but hopefully you went well with that. So what we've just done there is we've figured out what the remainder is going to be, and we've used our remainder theorem. Remainder. And sure enough, what this tells us is that 2x plus 1 is not a factor of p of x. But yeah, that's how you're approaching it. You're just using those 2 steps. Okay, let's keep on going here, and now we've just got a little bit of a different question here. It says if x cubed plus 2x plus a is divided by x minus 2, the remainder is 4. Find the value of a. Okay, so we're going to do the same steps again. So, but let me not write step 1 and step 2. Let's kind of just work through this more naturally here. So we know that this is my divisor. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to set it equal to 0, and that means x is going to be equal to 2. Now I know that I'm going to be substituting that into this right here. So let me just say, let p of x be equal to x cubed plus 2x plus a. What I know is that when I go p of 2, my answer is going to be 4, because I know that when I sub that into p of x, I'm going to get my remainder out, and I'm already told that my remainder is 4. But I need to solve it for a now. So let's just kind of go through this a bit slowly. Let's put 2 cube there. This is going to be 2 plus a. So I know that this is going to be equal to 4. So let me go 4 is equal to 8 plus 4 plus a. So hopefully that's made sense of what I've done here. I know that p of 2 is going to be my remainder. So my remainder is 4, and that's simply because they've told me the remainder is 4. So now it's just a matter of solving for a now. So let's do that. 8 plus 4 is 12. Then I'll minus 12 to both sides. And I'm going to end up with negative 8 is equal to a. So therefore, a is equal to negative 8. And that's my answer. That's how I approach these types of questions. So just slowly and methodically work your way through it and you will be fine. Let's now do the next one here. And it's the same thing again. So pause the video and see if you can do it for yourself. So the whole point of having two of a similar question is for you to pause it and for you to try it. So please make sure you're doing that. All right, so once again, we have this is divided by x plus 1 and the remainder is negative 11. So I know that my divisor here is x plus 1. I'm setting that equal to 0 and then solving that for x. And then I'm going to let p of x be equal to ax cubed minus x squared plus 2x minus 5. Now I know that when I go p of negative 1, my answer is going to be negative 11 because we're clearly told that the remainder is negative 11. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sub in negative 1 into my x spot. So I'm going to get a of negative 1 cubed minus negative 1 squared plus 2 negative 1 minus 5. And this is going to be negative 11 is equal to, now a cube of a negative is negative a. Now this is going to be, make it positive and then a negative. So this is going to be negative 1. Then this will be negative 2. This will be negative 5. Let's hope we're not messing this up here. Negative 11 is going to be equal to negative a. All of this together is going to be negative 8. Like that. Okay? Now let's be really careful here. Then I'm going to plus that over here. And that's going to be negative 3 on negative a. So therefore, a is going to be equal to 3. So yet again, just kind of working through it slowly and methodically to get to our answer. That's what it's going to be. A is equal to 3. So hopefully you were successful with these questions and it all makes sense. And yes, so that is practicing the remainder theorem. Hopefully that makes sense and I'll see you in the next part of this lesson.